Okay, yay, we are live. Happy Winning Wednesday. We are super pumped to be here with you guys again today. And we're going to switch the gears up a little bit. And I think this is going to be a really fun conversation. So I know most of the people are going to catch this on the replay, but if you are jumping on live, go ahead and say hello. Let us know where you are watching from. We're live in several different places on several different platforms. It's the beauty of technology is you can be in multiple places at one time. And if you're catching this on the replay, let us know what time you're watching this because we're trying to play with the time a little bit. So we want to see like what time you guys are tuning in so we know if we need to adjust our schedule. So if you would drop that down in the comments, regardless of where you're watching from, just drop the time that you're seeing this video so that helps us to kind of move in the right direction. So welcome to another week of Winning Wednesday. I'm super excited. Jeannie, how's your day been?
Going good. How are you? How's it going?
I'm good. That's the hair done today. So
It looks fantastic.
hair done. It's a good day, right?
Yes.
I just need to like pack my hairstylist in a box and bring her home with me because once I leave the salon, forget it. The hats come out. But all right, so I see a couple people jumping on LinkedIn. Hello over on LinkedIn. And if you guys are on Facebook for the first time and you've never seen us live here on StreamYard, there is a little link above in the comment section of this video that allows you to grant StreamYard access so that we know who you are. Otherwise, you show up as a Facebook user and we can't say hi to you. Todd from Utah over on LinkedIn. Hello, Todd. I hope you're having a fabulous Winning Wednesday. All right, let's dive right in because I want to be super respectful of everyone's time. I think this topic is going to be so darn applicable to a lot of different people. And for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we're all living this sort of rat race of life, right? Where Jeannie and I were just talking about things have just gotten a little bit congested in life. Like if you're feeling the sort of pressure and stress from the craziness of life right now, I was just, as a perfect example, I was just looking at somebody's video over on TikTok and it was a woman talking about another variant of, I can't say the word, but the C, and it had like all these decimal points after it. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again, right? So we're in this sort of constant state of overwhelm. So I think this is going to be a great topic for a lot of people. So I see Marianne and Dr. Roman over on LinkedIn. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
All right, so let's dive in. So we're talking about unlocking the secrets of winning health habits. So really, what does that mean? So getting back to what I was just saying about being in this sort of rat race of life, and both Jeannie and I are entrepreneurs. I've been a full-time entrepreneur now for 15 years. And people would think, oh, that's great. You have so much flexibility. Everything must just be on coast. You can do all the healthy things you want, right? It's so easy for you. But the reality is you still have to make these things a priority in your day. And so for those of you that are new to connecting with me on LinkedIn, and then I'll have Jeannie introduce herself, but I'm actually a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified diabetes educator by trade. I'm also a full-time social media entrepreneur, and really what I'm most passionate about is helping people optimize their health, but also helping people realize that you don't have to live in this sort of box of the 9-to-5 job the rest of your life. There are bigger things that you can do with your life, and of course, financial abundance alleviates a lot of stressors when it comes to being healthy. And so I'm really kind of working both angles here in helping people optimize their health, but also helping people who are looking for financial solutions, especially health and wellness professionals who are looking for additional revenue streams to boost their bottom line. Because I think that in itself alleviates a lot of stress. Would you agree, Jeannie?
Absolutely. Yes. I think that's a bulk of a lot of people's stress.
So tell us about you and like all of the things that you're juggling and how this is a relevant topic to you.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeannie Buckman, and my background is in exercise science, and I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach. I've worked in the industry for 27 years, and gosh, I've seen so many changes throughout the years, from working in the clinical environment to corporate and having my own business as well. And, I've seen a lot of like changes throughout the years as far as information that's out there. It used to be where, you'd go to your health professional and they'd give you the, advice or tell you what to do and you'd go do it. Now you have a plethora of information that's out there. And it's like, which one do you go with? So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what us as professionals, what we do for ourselves. And then you can kind of choose what you want to do, right? And that, I think, at the end of the day, that's my belief, is that you have to find what works for you. But yeah, it's just kind of like going through all that misinformation that's out there and figuring out what's the right thing to do and does it work for me at the end of the day. Yeah.
And what you said is so key, because when you talk about, and if you guys are interested in really creating some habits, we did a whole session, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, on our Winning Wednesday about creating lasting habits. So basically we're expanding on that topic and we're going to talk about health, because we're at two very different places in our entrepreneurial journey. And so I'm going to speak from the nutrition perspective, but also from the standpoint of being a full-time entrepreneur. And I think the best way to share how to create habits is to talk about what we do personally. And as Jeannie said, then you take that and you apply it to your world. Because if there's one thing that I've learned, and there are sometimes, as I always tell people, in the world of nutrition, there is one thing you will always be guaranteed, and that is the ultimate state of confusion. Meaning that there is so much information and people are like drowning in noise. There's some things out there that are more scientific in their roots, and then there's everybody's opinion. And I think the challenging part when it comes to creating habits is, what do you subscribe to? And so therefore we have these patterns of inconsistent behavior, because one week it's this, every January, perfect example. People try the latest and greatest diet, whatever that is, paleo, keto, vegan, macrobiotic. I mean, like the list goes on, right? And, the thing I will say about this is there are healthy things about every single one of those, but that doesn't mean that that is right for you or right for me. I think it's important to look at how can we create a lasting habit out of any nutritional program we choose. So I have tried all of those things, because as a dietitian, I feel like my job is to experiment with all of these things so that I can speak intelligently about them, even if I don't fully subscribe to them. We tend to be guinea pigs and try these things so that we can then say, you know what, I've walked this path first, let me help you. Because as a dietitian, of course, that's my profession. I love to help people. And so as a full-time entrepreneur, one of the things I think that was challenging for me at first when I launched my business 15 years ago was to take this sort of day that I was used to, like juggling everything and plugging in everything I had to do in little 15-minute increments throughout the day, is now realizing I had an 8-hour day to like work my business, or 12 hours or 15 hours. And as entrepreneurs, we tend to be very much, I'll just say it, workaholics, meaning that we have to actually carve out time to do the healthy things that most people would do, right? So the meal prepping. So as a registered dietitian, one of the things I've always believed in is the more prepared you are for something, the more likely you are to be consistent with it. So it goes back to simple principles. Like if you have a grocery list and you go to the store, you're more than likely going to buy things that are healthier versus just aimlessly wandering through the store and going, oh, that looks good, and that looks good, and that looks good, and that looks good. And you go home, you put it all away, and pretty soon you're like, I really have nothing to create that healthy meal. I have like bits and pieces of things. And so then you're back in the store spending more money, or you're like, to heck with it all, I'm just going to order out, right? And so you find yourself in this place of, not being able to create the habits of meal prepping or creating healthy meals when you need to, because you're disorganized. And so when I got into this space of being a full-time entrepreneur, one of the things that I realized I needed to do was to get myself organized in a different way. because I was used to the full-time job and then working a side business. But now all of a sudden I had this time, but I still needed to achieve those same things. So one of the things that I've really done with my health is to time block the things that are important. And meal prepping is one of those things. Time to make sure that I take my supplements. I mean, it seems so trivial, but like I schedule these things in my phone. I use my phone. Sometimes people use a, paper calendar or whatever. But how many of you can relate to, I order these supplements, it doesn't really matter what they are, and then they're sitting on my countertop and pretty soon you know it, they've expired, right? Or you use that one every third day or whatever the case might be. So one of the things that I've really found to be helpful is I've created a routine for myself. I have supplements that I take in the morning and supplements that I take in the evening. And at first that meant putting them all on a list. Here's the morning, check, 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 check them off. They've all, I've taken them all. Same thing in the evening. Now it's become a habit. I get up, I literally line them up on the counter, and I have my little routine. So let me share what my morning routine looks like as it relates to health. And this may help you guys as well. So the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is I do a meditation. Before I even get out of bed, I do a short meditation. I have an app on my phone called Insight Timer that I use that has meditations anywhere from 2 minutes up to, 20 plus. So I do a short meditation, and usually I pick something that is meant to kind of get my head in a healthy place for the day. And then the first thing I do before I turn on any lights is I go outside and I expose my eyes to sunlight for a few minutes, because that tells my brain and it tells my hormones that this is wake time and this is time to be productive for the day. So at night, it's the opposite. We need to train our bodies to produce melatonin so that we can get restful night's sleep. But we're, talking morning here. And so I get up in the morning, I do those two things and, brush my teeth, do all of that. Actually, I eat breakfast before I brush my teeth. I make sure, and this was important, I had to work on a habit of creating a healthy breakfast that contained mostly protein. So I thought to myself, all right, I want to make sure I'm productive. I don't want to spend 30 minutes cooking breakfast when I know I have a lot of things to get done. And I don't want to find myself in a situation where I'm working 14, 15, 16 hours, because if you're spending an hour cooking for breakfast, of course, that could easily happen. So I found for me personally, the easiest thing to do is put it all in a blender, whatever that is. And so I make a protein shake that is either a grass-fed organic whey, or I use a, high quality plant-based protein. I add a serving of vegetables. I add a serving of some type of fruit, generally some coconut milk, and blend away. And I know usually some healthy fat in there too with a nut butter. I know that I'm getting all of my nutrients that I need to really, launch my morning. And I made that all within 10 minutes. So I knew, based on all the things that I want to accomplish during the day, that morning routine had to be like set and secure. Once that is done, then I feel like my brain is nourished. I can sit down and I can be productive. And that takes me up till noon. And then obviously I repeat this same pattern. But usually what I do at noon is I've formed a habit of doing my workout. It's a good time for me to work out. I feel good around that time of day. And so I'm stacking my habits because it's become a routine for me. So these habits were things that I had to stack on top of one another so that I could be productive throughout the day. So lunchtime comes after my workout. And then usually in the afternoon is when I create my content. So I have learned to work my nutrition and my exercise around my crazy busy schedule. But being a full-time entrepreneur, I work this like it's a job. And I think that's very, very important, because we can get into this chaotic place of burnout. And then you're like, well, I don't have time to eat, or I don't have time to cook, or forget going to the grocery store because I need to work my business 24/7. When you fuel your brain with optimal nutrition, especially first thing in the morning, and you get some sort of movement, some sort of meditation and stress relief, I will tell you those three things alone have made my days much more productive. How about you, Jeannie? I know you obviously have that exercise background, but like, what do you structure your day like as it relates to your healthy habits?
Yeah, so mine is a little bit more crazy hectic because I have kids that I need to, make sure they do theirs in school. And I also have a full-time job, so I my mornings are a bit more rushed. Um, that being said, I still do make sure that I get up in the morning. As soon as I open my eyes, I just kind of like say I'm so thankful for another day. Just to be aware in the moment that, wow, I just woke up and here's another day to do something new and experience things. And then I get up, I go and I brush my teeth, get dressed, and then I go downstairs and I do my meditate because I work from home. I do my meditation in my office, and I do my affirmations, my journaling. So it takes me a little bit, but I'm at my desk and I carve out, that's the first thing I do when I get to my desk besides signing on. And then I get up and I go and I get breakfast, and it's usually for me, it's a cup of coffee. I don't have sugar in them. I really try to stay away from sugar.
Hmm.
So literally, like I'm not adding any sweeteners to things. So if I have oats, it just changes up. Sometimes I have oatmeal. If I make oatmeal overnight, because I'm cooking for everyone. So if I'm doing like steel cut oats, it's in the crock pot overnight. And then, I put a stick of cinnamon in there, and that's pretty much it. And everyone else adds what they want. I add blueberries to mine and some walnuts and 3 dates, and I just chop it up and put it in there, and that's it. And then
Three days, not four, but three.
yeah,
I love
3.
it.
And then there's other days that I will have eggs in the morning. So it really, like, I try to have variety for breakfast, but my thing is I always focus, like you said, on the protein. I always want the protein, the fiber, and some fat in my meals. That's just my thinking going into the meal. I
Love
have
it.
to mix it up because I have kids.
Mhm.
And they like variety. So I just, whatever's there, I eat in the morning, and then I come back and I start working. By 11:30 is usually when I take another break, and I will go get some lunch. I know it's kind of early, but I want to actually be able to work out by 12. So it's usually a light lunch, and I do have like a salad with tuna or chicken, some type of protein on top. I try to add some, like what is that I add? Hemp seeds. I add hemp seeds or chia seeds to it or something for extra omegas and and protein and all of that. And avocado. I love avocado. It's very filling. I'll add that. And that's pretty much it there. And then I will go and work out. Usually the workout is, no, it can't be long. So it's got to be 30 minutes because then I have to get back to work. And then after work, I get off at 3:30. Usually it's right off to go and walk the dog. So immediately take the dog out for a walk. And my husband does the morning with her. I do the afternoon. And then I will take her out for another walk in the evening. So I am getting my steps in. But here's the trick. Because I'm at my desk all day, I have a stand-up desk and I have an elliptical underneath my desk. So at any time, whether I'm sitting or standing, I'm doing something that's helping to boost my metabolism because standing, of course, burns more calories than sitting. And my elliptical, after I eat, because this is the thing, and you know this, Sonia, within that 2 hours, your blood sugars tend to spike, right?
Mhm.
And so I don't want them to spike. So I just start cycling to use up that blood sugar that's sitting in my, in the bloodstream because your muscles will, use it as energy. So that's what I do. That's my day. And then at night I try to end it with like kind of like closing that circle on gratitude and before I go to bed. And it's usually more of I won't meditate, I won't do the hypnosis, but it's more of just being present and looking at my day and what went well, what didn't, and what can I improve tomorrow.
I love that. And so, kind of getting back to the title of what this video is about. So, if you notice all of these things that we've talked about, and I'll finish up by sharing my afternoon routine because I've recently switched some things around, and I'll get to that in a second. But all of these are, if you notice, we've got like a routine, right? So from this time to this time, you do this. From this time to this time, you do this. For those of you that work a full-time job, you know, those are your non-negotiable hours of from this time to this time, especially if you go to an office. If you work from home like Jeannie does, you probably have more flexibility. But like, you know, you have to decide what are the things that are important on that list to achieve, whether that's your meal prep. And some people that's more important than others. You know, for some people, they like to really, you know, they're super creative in the kitchen and they just want to be in the moment with what they're eating. And I envy those people because even though I like to cook, like during the day, I want to make sure that I'm maximizing my schedule. So I have those meals prepped so that when it's lunchtime, I eat my lunch. I don't have to say, like, wander around the kitchen for an hour and going, what am I going to have for lunch today? Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think what Jeannie just shared as an example is a perfect sort of habit stack that she has built that works for her schedule. She knows exactly what her hours are. She knows exactly what her family priorities are. She knows that she has to work her side hustle as well, her full-time business. But all of these health things that we're talking about, creating these healthy habits, are what makes all of that possible. If you ate McDonald's, sorry to pick on McDonald's, sorry. But if you ate McDonald's for breakfast every day, you did not exercise, you did not meditate, did not express gratitude, did not get proper sleep, what would happen? Would you be able to work a full-time job, take care of kids, and run a business?
Yeah, that's right. Crazy, crazy. Yeah.
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 So here's what I've done recently in the afternoon. And I think that one thing it's important to understand is that you create a schedule that works for you. And
Mhm.
I had noticed that I'm really good at my content creation in the afternoons. I don't know if it's because I take a shower or what that is, but that's like my peak time for being high energy. In the morning, I'm not as high energy, so I try to do more of the sort of behind the scenes types of things. And that's why for me it's really important to start my day with protein because it really sort of it's like the accelerator on, you know, I'm pushing the accelerator down so that I can work with my blood sugar, I can work with my body chemistry and energy so that when I get to the afternoon, I have the ability to, of course, create my content, which is where I put a lot of my energy. And so the things that I've switched around recently is after lunch, before I get ready and create my content, I jump into my infrared sauna in the afternoon. And so, and sometimes that comes before lunch at right after my workout
Mhm.
because it's really important. And this is a habit that I've stacked to make sure it gets done because that's a 30-minute chunk of time that I had to like put somewhere, right? But
Mhm.
saunas are really important for helping your body to detox. And so I wanted to make sure that that got stacked on something else so that it was a habit. And so it either, depending what my workout is, it either comes right after my workout or right my workout, my food, my lunch, which, you know, is usually another healthy thing that I've prepped in advance, and then my sauna session. And then it's on to creating my content and that obviously takes a few hours. And
Mhm.
then we close at the end of the day with gratitude journaling because I
Mhm.
think that's so important. I used to do that in the morning, but I felt like I was like overloading my morning where I wasn't as energetic.
Okay.
So also I feel that gratitude journaling in the evening is a
Mhm.
way for me to release the energy of the day.
Mm.
I'm grateful for the things that have happened today.
Mhm.
Alongside the gratitude, because, you know, sometimes you go to bed and you're like, oh, your brain is going 100 miles an hour. So next to my gratitude journaling is also the things that I know that I need to work on for tomorrow,
Mhm.
the ideas, the thoughts, the maybe something that didn't go so well today that I want to do better tomorrow. It's a sort of another form of journaling. but it's right alongside my gratitude journaling. And that allows me to clear my brain for the evening so that I can get a more restful sleep and then wake up and repeat it all.
Yeah.
And like, for example, today, and this I think is so important. Today I had an appointment that I was gone away from that schedule for 3 hours, but I planned everything around that appointment. So you need to be able to shift those, healthy habits that you've created to make sure that they still get done, even if you're away from your normal schedule. And I think that, and let's land the plane with this. I think one of the things that people struggle with all of this stuff is consistency and making sure that whatever, and that's why habit stacking is so important.
Yeah.
Because then it's just part of your routine, right? So I have a cheat meal every Saturday. It is part of my routine. I didn't get there overnight. It used to be maybe multiple cheat meals, or for you, the sugar in the morning or no sugar in the morning. Probably took me a while to get there, but now it's just what you do, right?
Exactly.
And so you have to be able to like juggle those things if you get out of your routine.
I agree with you so much. I think it's really important to build a habit around it. It's not easy. We are not sitting here saying this is easy. It took a while to build these habits in. And I will say the hardest thing and the challenge is the prepping. It's every week for me. I'm planning the meals for the next week. I'm prepping, and Sundays are usually prep days for us. And it's like 4 or 5 hours in the kitchen of prepping everything for the week, and it's a whole family, so it's like lots of meals. And even if I haven't cooked it, I know what I'm going to make. So that oatmeal in the middle of the week, I know that I've got to set that crock pot at 11 o'clock tonight before I go to bed so that we have oatmeal in the morning. But it's easy, so you have to kind of you prep and you plan, but you make sure those meals are easy so that you're not stuck in the kitchen for hours and hours and hours.
Wasting time.
Wasting time. Yeah. And I love it that you said about setting your alarm to take your supplements. That is huge. That's huge because I forget to take medications. Like I have to set an alarm to take my meds if I'm given like a prescription. I don't take meds, but if I'm prescribed some type of medication, I have to set an alarm for it or I'll forget.
Yeah. I mean, and people think, an entrepreneur's schedule is flexible, and it is, but you can flex that too much in one direction.
Yep.
So you have to still, if you're going to be productive and successful, you have to still create habits. You have to create a schedule. And so what's the secret to creating healthy habits? It's planning. Planning and consistency, planning and consistency, planning and consistency, rinse and repeat over and over again, just like you wash your hair, right? Yep. Know what those non-negotiables are in your day. And there's no right or wrong. It's whatever helps you be productive. We know there are basics. We want to work on adequate sleep. We want to make sure our nutrition is on point, that we move our bodies every day. We do some form of stress management. And that comes in many different ways, right? So that's different for everybody, but including these, as I call them, like spokes on a wheel, these healthy habits throughout your day and consistently planning. And if you need to change something, that means your system, your plan has to change for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year. And sometimes you have to play with that schedule a little bit to see what's optimal for you. So I think this is really important, especially with all of the noise that is out there on social media and everywhere else, that we make sure that whatever habits we're creating for ourselves, they're things that we can stick with. And just because somebody else is doing the keto diet or the this or the that doesn't mean it's right for you.
Right.
The healthiest things are the things that you're going to do and be consistent with. I mean, would you agree, Jeannie?
Yes, please. There's no perfect time for exercise. The perfect time is when it works for you. Because again, at the end of the day, consistency is what gives you results, not the peak time that somebody said on social media or in an article that you read that's the best time because your metabolism is at its highest. No. Do what works for you. I promise you that you will see more results doing that than listening to what's out there.
I love it. This has been a really, really great conversation, and we're going to expand this topic because we could go in like 25 different directions with it. So I hope you guys found value in this. And if you are watching on Facebook or on LinkedIn, feel free to smash that share button and share this with people that in your network that we might be able to help, because really our goal showing up every single Wednesday is to help you win in life. And so if there are one or two things that you can take from this conversation that will help you win, hey, we've done our job for the day. So thanks for being with me, Jeannie.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.